You could be losing money in your portfolio right now and not even know it. That's the scary truth most investors miss until it's too late. So that's why I tested the 3 best stock portfolio management tools, Empower, Koyfin, and Sharesight, which claim to expose those blind spots. But do they really deliver? Well, I tested all of them, and one shocked me with how much it actually improved my returns. But before I trusted any of these stock portfolio management tools, I spent weeks going through reviews, forums, and user feedback, even before I ever linked a single account or ran a report. Why? Well, because if an investment portfolio tracker looks great but doesn't hold up in real-world use by a lot of people, it's not worth your time or your money, right? So I started with the stuff that most portfolio tracking software users ignore, and that's the negative reviews from people who've used this before. And with Empower, one user actually complained that this stock trader had a bunch of small bugs. The fund transfer tool was missing a checkbox, a mobile app that wouldn't remove the closed account, and there was a roadmap feature that kept bugging him for no reason. Now, that sounds like death by 1,000 cuts, but here's the thing. When I checked my own account, I actually found Empower's mobile app surprisingly snappy, especially after their last update, and bugs with things like closed accounts are usually resolved once you refresh the sync from like the desktop or they update the service. So while I do get the frustration, it didn't match most of the other feedback I saw or my own experience, and many people really do seem to love the budgeting and account syncing features. One reviewer here actually said that it replaced Mint perfectly for him and called the interface intuitive to use, so they enjoyed it. And another investor said that Empower helped him pull together all of his bank and credit accounts into this one single place, and that saved him from the spreadsheet headaches, you know? But with the next one, Koyfin, I did see a few other users say that, they wasn't just for them, and this one said that he gave 5 stars for this anyway because of the auto trial and the value. He did mention that some stock stats were missing and wished for more free forecasts. And here's where I land on that. When you're running a portfolio tracker software that tracks thousands of global stocks, some data gaps do pop up, but during my testing, I found Koyfin's coverage strong enough to continue with my testing, and I continued to use them with deep equity research, especially compared to platforms that cost 10 times as much. They have a lot of useful things. And another reviewer outright said that Koyfin gives you Bloomberg-level power for under $1,000. That's wild. If anything, that review alone made me double check the value that I was actually getting. But now over to Sharesight. So the frustration with this portfolio tracking software was more about the price with people. One user said that Sharesight did the job with some manual checking, but it became too expensive since he joined. I think that's totally fair. Sharesight's pricing has shifted a bit as they've added more features. But if you're running a portfolio that actually needs accurate tax reports and global asset tracking, the value trade-off still holds up here. And I've seen many users really agree with me here. I've seen a lot of the reviews. So take this user, for example. He highlighted that Sharesight is an excellent value for money with its great interface. He further stated that this portfolio tracker app is outstanding for tracking income and tax returns and accurately tracking portfolio. Yeah, so while no stock portfolio tracker is perfect, most of the complaints here were pretty rare and centered around growing pains or pricing, not the core failures of the program itself. And I think the positive reviews way outweighed those and showed real impact. Okay, now it's finally time to talk about the features themselves, because this is where these best stock portfolio management tools really set themselves apart from each other and compare themselves. So for Empower, for example, it's basically like having a full-on personal CFO in your pocket. I started using their cash flow graph just to get like a basic sense of my monthly spending, but it actually ended up doing way more for me. Plenty of extra tools there. It showed my income and expenses across every account that I linked. It filtered out the noise like my 401k contributions, savings transfers, and securities trades, and it laid everything out month over month. I could instantly spot where my income dipped or where my spending spiked, like on things that I perhaps shouldn't be spending on. So that insight alone did help me cut some unnecessary expenses in 2 categories last month. But then there's the budgeting widget. I didn't expect to use this much because I'm not the kind of person who really tracks every penny that I spend. But when I saw my expenses bucketed into easy to read categories on the dashboard, That changed everything. I didn't even have to build like a budget from scratch. I could just see what needed adjusting on the fly, and if I wanted to move some money or not spend as much here, that was easy to see. And the credit card account view was another win for me. I could instantly see my total balance across all cards with one-day change indicators. Great for making smart paydown decisions on the fly. So overall, Empower portfolio tracking app isn't just about tracking, it's about awareness. But onto the next one. Koyfin is in a different league when it comes to market data power. The first tool that I dug into with them was their equity screener. I set my criteria using a mix of growth, valuation, and technical filters, and within seconds, it pulled up a list of stocks from over 100,000 global securities. I've used screeners with other stock portfolio tracking platforms before, but nothing this responsive and deep without, I think, paying like Bloomberg-level money for that kind of deep connection. So then I found their ETF exposure tool next. This one was a game changer when I was using it. It showed me exactly which ETFs held my target stock and how much exposure each ETF had to it. So that matters when you're trying to reduce overlap or find niche sector plays. The watch list sharing feature was there, and it was just icing on the cake. I actually shared my watch list with a buddy, and he could see all of my custom columns, my views, tickers, which made collabing way easier. Now, when I got started with Sharesight, I saw a few of their tools. The tax tank integration really floored me as a tool. As someone who dabbles in property investments, being able to merge that data with my stock portfolio in real time gives a much more full picture of my finances all year round with more of my assets. And when it came time to prep for taxes, I actually used their historical cost report. It lets me compare market value versus cost basis across every holding. If you've got shares in a trust or under a business name, that feature alone is worth the price. And then there's the watch list tracking. Sharesight lets you track price movements across over 750,000 global assets, including crypto. For me, that's huge, right? I'm always scanning ETFs and small caps, and now I can monitor all of them as well as hundreds of thousands of other assets, all from this single dashboard. Each of these portfolio tracking platforms, all of that I've mentioned, does lean into the individual core strengths. Empower gives you full financial visibility, Koyfin gives you this deep research, and Sharesight helps you track and tax plan like a pro. Does that make them all perfect? No, not at all. Empower's depth means that it takes a little time to sync and categorize your accounts properly the first time, but once it's set, it runs smoothly. Koyfin, on the other hand, is powerful, but it can feel like too much if you're just tracking a basic portfolio. It's built for people who want insight beyond the basics. And Sharesight's pricing might feel too steep if you're not taking full advantage of the tax reports and watch lists, but honestly, if you need those tools, it's a really good deal. Now, what about price? That's always the sticking point, right? That's what matters. Empower is surprisingly accessible given how comprehensive it is. You get full cash flow views, budgeting, credit breakdowns, all bundled into one platform. If you're serious about managing your full financial life, it's really worth it. Koyfin offers really powerful tools, I think at a fraction of what Bloomberg or FactSet would cost. Now, it's not cheap, but for what you get, it's a steal. And Sharesight, on the other hand, might come off as pricey to casual investors, but if you're tracking multiple portfolios, running reports, and optimizing for taxes, it more than pays for itself. Just check the links in the description for the most up-to-date pricing plans, and any current promos or discounts that they're offering. We'll have that down there. And if you're still tracking your investments with like spreadsheets or relying on your broker's bare bones dashboard, it might be time for you to choose an upgrade. Empower gives you full financial visibility, Koyfin gives you institutional level market insight, and Sharesight gives you real-time portfolio clarity and tax tools that save serious time. No matter your style, one of these tools can level up how you manage your money. So check the links in the description below for special pricing and deals and see which one fits your investing goals best.